Welcome to 52 Weeks of Prospecting Success. Today we're going to talk about data. I get the question a lot about how valuable is it to research before the call. Well, when researching before the call, I recommend asking the secondary question of how much is this really changing my approach? If I'm going to research before every single call, it should be changing my approach every single call. If it's not, then I'm probably just trying to avoid making calls. Secondly, I recommend starting with a smaller list. It's better to have a smaller list of leads and actually maintain the follow-up with those leads than to constantly do first calls into new sets of leads. For an enterprise rep that's managing prospecting as part of their job, I recommend as few as 10 to 20 new leads a week. For a rep that's prospecting full-time, like a true SDR function, I would recommend somewhere between 40 to 60 or even as high as 80 to 100 net new leads a week, as long as I can maintain my second, third, and fourth phone calls without weeks in between. Finally, segment your week. It's better to set aside specific time to cleanse a list, to get the right emails and phone numbers so that I can get into a rhythm with my calling. For most SDR reps, I recommend about 2 to 4 hours a week of building that list. If the company is supplying data sources like data.com and SalesLoft, and many of those are great starting sources, but they require a lot of time before the call can actually be made to check phone numbers and fill in those email addresses. It can save as much as half of the cost per lead to research the list before the call instead of trying to research it as I'm calling. Thank you so much for joining me this week on 52 Weeks of Prospecting Success. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for lead gen and post your questions to Twitter via hashtag 52weekSDR.